Hello, people. My name is SACO, SACO. SACO is my full name, and my first name is Sunday. The A is Ayodele, the C is Chukwukamadu, meaning God is greater than man, and then O is Okundalaiye, and that's how I got the name SACO. A few years ago, when I realized this is what I wanted to do as a stand-up comedian, master of ceremony, I said to myself, what name do I want people to call me? I don't know where the idea came from, but I think it was just divine for me. Where I remember writing those names down, and that's how I came with the name SACO, and I'm here. Okay, for me, I sincerely did not ever imagine I was going to make this kind of money in comedy. For me, I just wanted to make people happy, and that's the greatest. I say to people that's the greatest thing you could ever do, rendering service. When you're rendering service and you're providing solution, money automatically start coming to your place, especially when you do it the right way. For me, teaching literature back in school, when I finished secondary school, it was divine also, I would say. And so, but as I began to make people laugh and I began to see the value they were placing on making them laugh, I realized that, oh yes. And so, for me, it was just me doing the same thing I was doing over the years, and money started flowing to my place.
In developed countries, I've been privileged to travel. When I was 7, I went to the US for the first time. In my dreams, I used to go, once I sleep, I'm off. I don't know whether our pastor talked about us dreaming, so I dreamed a lot, going to a lot of countries. Sometimes I sleep, I wake up very tired. People say, what happened? I say, I travel. When did you go? I say, I went last night. When did you come? I say, I just came back. I will.
Okay, SACO, like I said, was just my simple name, my initials. I could explain it to anybody. SACO is the name I got. I used to write SACO all over in my house back then. My mom didn't even like the name. I was writing all my initials because I grew up in a polygamous family, and she was very careful how I released all my names. But for me, so when I went to University of Ilorin and I met a man called MC Mark, my first boss as a stand-up comedian, and then he was cracking a joke and he brought the name SACO, and he said he called it the Senior Advocate of Comedy because he wanted to bring out a joke, and said I wanted to study law, but since they didn't give me law, they gave me accounting. I just said to myself, since I can't become the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, I could be the Senior Advocate of Comedy. At first, I would say to you, I didn't really accept the name, but I realized that people started remembering the name, and for them it was always funny. Senior Advocate of Comedy. We've had Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Senior Advocate of the masses, and then this is Senior Advocate of Comedy. And I realized for me, branding also says, I learned some things in branding that, okay, what do people know you as? What people remember you as? And people began to remember that name. And I just said, see, as long as people remember the name, because I want people to remember my name, and Senior Advocate of Comedy, Senior Advocate of Comedy, that's what worked for them. I just allowed it, and it became my title in the comedy industry. Nobody takes away that from me. Out of comedy wasn't what I planned. It was for me, I keep using the word divine because I studied accounting and data processing. I love music. I used to be in the choir. I used to make people laugh. I used to make people in the choir sing. During rehearsals, I used to make them laugh. And so I grew up in a polygamous family. I'm the firstborn of 8 children. Tentatively, as I speak with you now, I don't know the latest number when we finish recording. That's actually, but reality is I'm the firstborn. And growing up for us was a lot because we couldn't afford some things that we could afford when we were growing up. My father got retired, and so we're not enjoying some of the things we were enjoying, and then it does dawn on us that yes, God gave my father a house in Ketu, but we could not afford to eat. And so I started working as a waiter. I worked as a waiter for like 5 years, where it gave me opportunity to get paid and also get some remnants back home. Yeah, I call it remnant because it was when they finish eating that we take the food home, the excess, and then sometimes the meat they don't touch, I wrap it in the nylon, take it back to my mom, and then sometimes we manage a lot of things. And for me as a young boy, I kept on thinking, what can I do to make my family come out of the part where we have to struggle? And so one of the things that helped me also was when I was working as a waiter, I was seeing the MCs at events, anchor events, and when I see them anchor events, something does resonate with me and say, this is me in a few years' time. This is me in a few years' time. I might not have been able to place it now, but every time I grow and I go for courses and I read books and I begin to see the things the way I was seeing myself back then. I say, I've seen Gordon's anchor events while I was working as a waiter. I've seen different people anchor events, and I would tell my coordinator to allow me walk inside the hall so that I could have access to the event to see the way MCs are doing their job. I didn't know that one day I would stand side by side with those people. I remember working at the Mozon Center, and I went to work. I think that was the biggest amount of people paying 1,500 per day to like an usher. I was working as an usher, and then I saw Gordon Sanko, a corporate event, and I went to meet him. I was so excited. Somebody I see on TV, I say, "Hi, my name is Sako. I've been watching you on TV. I love what you do. I'm a stand-up comedian." And then he was excited. He was quite receptive. And he said, "Wow, would you like to perform here?" I said, "No, sir, that I came to work because for me, 1,500 was the biggest amount they're going to pay me. So I didn't want anything to hinder." And so I went to do the job. And just a few years into few years, I had to anchor an event in Abuja. And I was a master of ceremony. Gordon's was a comedian. Sheila was a comedian. And just a matter of time between when I saw him and the growth. So for me at that time, it was processing period. It was incubating period. I was going through incubation where people don't know me at that time, but some people know me now. So it also means that some people are watching me right now. People might not know you. But once you are going through the right process and you're working on yourself, just a matter of time. Some people that we didn't know 3 years ago, we know them now because they went through the process. So at that time, so when I finished working at the waiter and I got admission at University of Ilorin, that's when I started. And I realized that it was difficult for my mom sending me money in school. Sometimes she has to queue on the line to pay 100 into my account, and I have to stand for a long time, to withdraw the 1,000. So I just realized when I started the 1st of October, so I started 1st of October 2005, where they paid me my first 5,000 for stand-up comedy. And that's when it dawned on me that this is the job I'm going to do. This is what I love to do. I knew from the start that I was very restless at that time to stay in the office. So I knew this is what I wanted to do. And that's where I am right now, from being a waiter to realizing that comedy pays. And then my mentor made it very easy for me, Holy Malam. I've had several mentors, but in the comedy industry. But like I told you, my first boss / mentor was MC Markins in the UK at the moment. And then in 2004, before I went to University of Ilorin, I saw this man called Holy Malam anchor an event in a church. And I said to myself, this is the man this is where I see myself in a few years' time, because he was clean, a gospel comedian. And I sent him a mail then. He didn't respond. And I thank God he didn't respond, because if he had, I didn't have the capacity to be a protege, because maybe because of I didn't know the things that I know now, because I know that protege mentorship is a very, very conscious effort where you can't afford to mess it up. It's a relationship that mentorship has to do. Sometimes it has to be a 6 months thing. It has to be a 1 year thing. Sometimes it has to be a 2 year thing, and it could be a lifetime thing. And so in 2009, when I rounded off in school, I went to do an event. I followed a friend to do an event, and that was how I got connected to him, and he liked me, and he's mentored me from that 2009, May 29th till date. Yes. Even though I have other mentors in order, Reverend Samadeyemi is one of my grand mentors, my senior pastor. I've had Pastor Godwin, I've had Julius Agu, I've had Teju Babyface. So it comes per time. Sometimes I don't have access to them, sometimes I have access to them. For me, I feel that I know that the church has given a lot of youths the platform to thrive. If you check it well, most of the secular artists, most of the artists that you hear today started from church.
I'm sure some of you have gone to those churches where they have to raise prayer points. Sometimes they ask you to call. If there's anything I enjoyed when I got into this, that 2009, it was an amazing time coming from a CAC background, and they just lead prayer points and off. Where I was coming from, you lead prayer point, you call the name of Jesus 7 times, call Holy Spirit 7 times, call the blood of Jesus 7 times, and they call the prayer point. Sometimes you have forgotten the prayer point. It's like, oh yeah, Baba, Jesus 1, Jesus 2, Jesus 3, Jesus 4, and more one. You now get to a prayer point, you have forgotten. You are shaking, you don't know what you are doing. You now ask, kill us on, you know, can you pray? They will now ring the bell. Ní orúkọ Jésù, a gbàdúrà.
Church. Mention names. They will tell you they had one thing to do with church. At least 90% of them, I can assure you. But at the long run, I think the church, some of them took it to a level and say, oh, this is church boy, he's doing it for church. And then they began to realize that this person has talent. Because he was groomed in church, they feel that, oh, yes, he has to give back. Yes, he gives back. But, some churches just believe that, oh, when anything that has to do with church, they don't pay. They just tell you, God bless you, I see you going places. Yes, I know I'm going places. Can you give me transport fare to go to the place at least? And what makes me be a comedian? For me, it's how I satisfy my clients. How I'm able to meet their needs in the sense that when they invite me for an event, I'm giving a brief and then I work with a brief. For me, I started comedy. Like I said in the earlier interview, I said that my first fee was 5,000 naira on the 1st of October, and that made it my professional. I said to me, that's when I started professionally, because all the other fee they were always giving was donut, Zobo, 2,000 naira. But when I realized I have 2,000 for anchoring an event overnight, and so this one, an evening event, I do 5-10 minutes and they give me 5,000. For me, I think, compared to where I am right now, what I did is I'm not the same person that I was 13 years ago. I read a book from Malcolm Gladwell. It says what you do for you to become a professional, you should have done it over 10,000 hours. I have exceeded that 10,000 hours because you have to keep doing it over and over again. That sometimes where even after they paid me 5,000, and sometimes they didn't pay me a long time, I would have to work severally to get 2,000, 1,000 overnight. I do a departmental event that's not even up to 5,000. But it didn't, for me, that was when I celebrated my milestone where I broke out of the norm of collecting 5,000 for collecting 2,000, but 5,000. And then so that I would say when I started in 2005, I didn't get any other money again like that expensive until 2009. Like I told you, I met Holy Man in 2009, and then he recommended me for an event in Lekki where they paid me 30,000 naira. So you can imagine from 2005 to 2009, I was still collecting between 5,000 and 10,000 for anchoring events back in school. And then 2009, they recommended me for an event in Lekki, and they were going to pay me 30,000 for comedy. It was so crazy that when I saw the money in my account, I had to withdraw 1,000 to be sure that it was mine. It was that because I was sure to do comedy. It was ridiculous, and then. Now I can charge 500,000, 600,000 for stand-up comedy because I know the value that you put into it. It means that for somebody to contact you and then you tell them a price and they're begging you for this amount, it means that your value has increased over the years, and they've analyzed. For somebody to call you, they've seen your video, they've done a background check on you, and they realize that you can do their event. So when you get a call, it means that even if the person could be playing on your television and says, we actually do not need a comedian, we don't need an MC, it was a last thought, we just thought we should bring you up. The last thought means that you have actually done a background check. The last thought, you had several comedians you have called or master of ceremony. It means that for you to have called me, it means I'm going to render good service for you. I listen to a lot of people. I listen to somebody like Fela Drotoye, and he says every time you celebrate, get to a milestone, and he made this illustration, you're going to Ibadan, I leave Lagos, I get to Bega, I'm not where I used to be, and I move, and gradually I'm in redemption camp, and I get to Challenge, and I get to Ibadan. Now, for me, I don't see all those money I collect big boom. I might tell you, I might not be able to tell you specifically, oh, this amount, but what it did for me was every time I did an event, it met a need. It not only met a need, I was able to save from it. And so from that, I was saving. And then that was how I was able to get the big sum. I won't tell you I made, yes, I've gotten 1 million, I've gotten 1.5 million, I've gotten, in a day. But for me, I don't see that as a big boom. I see the little things that I do that brings other things. I've done events where I did little things that didn't even pay me up to 100,000, that I got 500, that I got 1 million. So I will be changing the question to let you know that, yeah, it's not the big boom that matters to me, is how it comes in consistently. Older in the comedy industry and the masters, I realized that, oh yes, it got to a time I said to myself, do I still want to do comedy? And I began to see people like Teddy Babyface. I realized that gradually began to call, going to the showbiz, his talk, like Tajube Face show. And then at the time, between 2 years ago and last year, I began to say to myself, do I really want to become a comedian? I think I'm comfortable being a master of ceremony with a sense of humor. That's how I got the name sense of humor. And then I also had a burden to mentor people, even though that's what I've been doing for years and it wasn't official. I don't make it official. You just come to meet me and say you want to work with me, because I feel that people gave me the platform. I share with them. I even bring some of them to my house, some of them stay with me, and then we'll go events. I share my platform with them. But I wanted to make it, and I realized that people watch, people see, and that's why I started the SACO initiative, where we mentor compares, comedians to be ethical. Nothing as clean as clean. You can't compare clean water to dirty water. So if you're cracking dirty jokes, your relevance, people might know you, but they will be skeptical on bringing you up to their platform, especially if it's a corporate event. So for me, what I did was I started a strategic mentoring program where we bring comedians, compares, even people, musicians that are just growing to understand the essence of mentorship. Mentors will help you, reduce the years that it took them to achieve things. If it took some people 5 years, if you go through true mentorship, because there's true mentorship, the role you need to take, the characteristics of what the protege is, the lifespan of the mentorship with you, it will save you 2 years, so you don't make the same mistake. I'll give you this example. My mentor, Olimana, went through some challenges getting visa to the UK. And so when he met me, the mistake that he didn't want me to do the same thing. So he began to teach me on how to save money. I have a separate account where I pay money into using the name of the client. So you pay money into my account now, like another bank, and then maybe that's my working bank. I don't want to start advertising. I withdraw from the account and then use the name of the clients to pay the money to the account. And that was how I began to work on my account. And in 2012, I got my first trip to the UK and I wasn't rejected. He got rejected not once, not twice, but the same mistake that he didn't want me to do it. And so for me, I feel that mentorship gives you a lot of secret that other people don't have access to. And when you are genuine with him, what I relate to the secret I'm going to share with my children, I cannot share with people that are outside, which, like, even though I'm going to, say some things, but some things I will say. So that cycle where you need, so that's the initiative where I'm doing, where I'm expressing myself to the people I'm mentoring and say, not even to the people I'm mentoring, whenever I have the opportunity to speak. Because one thing about information is if you don't share it, somebody else will share it. One thing that I've learned also is honor. I like to honor people that have been in the industry before I am. And the amazing thing is, before I got there, the amazing thing is, most of them, I might be older than them. Some of the people that have, I might not mention their names, is I honor them. I sow seeds into their life. I believe in seed sowing. I believe strongly that grace can be multiplied. When you see somebody that has grace, instead of envying the person, why don't you celebrate the person? And I think that's what has helped me. I've had the privilege of working with Felado to an anchor event, and then I introduced him. I've had the privilege of being mentored by Oli Malava. I've had the privilege of anchoring event for Reverend Samadeyemi. Most people, and most times they don't even pay me because I don't. The money is not the issue. It's the privilege to anchor this event that matters. And so, tomorrow, like Statoka Labi, I anchored her 40th birthday a few years ago. Molly Malam, I've done several events for him, and then I also sow seeds to him because I believe in seed sowing. I believe that the things that I've gotten from them, I can't quantify them, I can't pay for them. In developed countries, what they do to their children is, as they go on break, they go work somewhere. Even if it's just 2 weeks, they work there, they gain experience, they go on break again, they work somewhere else. By the time they are done with school, they have several years of experience. Even if it's 2 weeks, they have several years of experience. For me, as a stand-up comedian, there's some event that I wasn't paid what I'm supposed to be paid. But as long as I anchor the event and I'm building my profile, I write the names of those people I've worked with. They can confirm, they have data to confirm the SACO anchor an event for you. So for me, I think they should change the mindset of, oh yes, once you are done with school, you're on break. Even as a secondary school student, I believe that you can also teach them, which I'm going to do to my daughter, is when they're on break, she can come work in my company. Even if it's the reception, you run her through and say, this is how it's being done. She gets the experience. As she grows older, she's on another break. Even if she has to go for class or whatsoever, let her work for at least 1 month or work for 2 weeks, works in the place, then go and do a what they call revision or summer class and all these things. It helps them build their profile. So when you work in Nigeria, you want to get a job and they say they want someone that has the same 7 years work experience, and you're asking, how do you want this person to get work experience? If you check it in reality, most of the 4 years that we say we spend in school, we don't spend 4 years in school, we spend 2 years actually. Because if you check the numbers of break that you have in between, the long break, you realize when you move everything together, it's almost 2 years. And so it means you went to school for 2 years, and you were home for 2 years. Well, reality is, a lot of whenever I travel, as I'm speaking to my family, especially in the US, and my wife was saying to you, are you sure you don't want us to stay here? I said, I don't want us to stay there yet. Even though in the long run, we might consider it. But the job I have done through the years, I need to reap them. And so I cannot just relocate except I'm a Christian, I need to be led to relocate. Yes, it's lovely. I'm going to be traveling soon. I was in Scotland last month, and I enjoy the place. But you need to ask yourself when you relocate, what exactly? The people it will benefit more is your children, because your children will go to beautiful schools. You can even go to schools free, But at the same time, I have never, it's never come to my mind. The only part I was thinking, okay, my family can relocate, even though if I don't want to stay far from my children and my wife. So it's not come. It has come. I was in Dallas two years ago, and some people were saying, "Why don't you relocate? You are good. Relocate to Dallas. There are no comedians in Dallas." I said, "See, I have to be led." It was the offer was good, but I have to ask myself, if I relocate, it means I'm going to start all over again. So it means I have to put things in place, let people know you. When people know you, to a reasonable extent, you can relocate. I've had people that relocated, and right now, getting back the Lagos market, the Nigeria market is difficult. My advice to you is, yes, I can assure you that I went through the process. I'm still going through the process. I'm not there yet, but I'm not where I used to be. And the difference between there and here is time. T is the word. THER and HERE. It's just the time. So where I'm here now, I'm not used to be. For you to get there, it's just a matter of time. There's no overnight success. You have to go through the process, learn the things, because if you feel that's no overnight success, all the people that you see today went through a process, go through processes. You can't become a graduate if you don't go through the 4 walls of a university. Even though, yes, they're online, but you went through a process. You have to pass the exams. What exams have you passed? What exam are you willing to pass to get to the next level? So I say to people, to youth in Nigeria, there are a lot of resources here. There are a lot of problems that you are the solution. Most times, most of the things you're complaining about, you actually have solutions to them. And so when I go to events and I see comedians crack jokes that are not fun, I don't get offended, because I will crack, when I get on stage, I crack the jokes that I know, and then makes me different from everybody. Everybody have their strengths, you have your weakness. So the way Nigeria have their strength, they have their weaknesses also. Don't increase to the weakness. Work. Don't say everything is not working. Something is working. Something is working. You at least you can eat twice in a day. Some people cannot even eat once in a day. So don't get discouraged. You have to say to yourself, encourage yourself, and say you can make it in this Lagos. I can testify to the fact that a few years ago, I was a nobody. I'm not there yet. You might be seeing me for the first time, but I'm not where I used to be. Trust me. You can say that to yourself, that that's a lot of opportunities in Nigeria. For you, I say to people, or one of the things I've learned is, you are not a failure. Failure is an event. It means that when you failed, you are not the one that failed. The business you did failed. So yes, you were the one in charge, but it failed, and it just meant that you learned something from that. It means that you learned not to do this way. So at the same time, I say to people, when I started comedy, I didn't get it. I did the analysis when I got my first 5,000 in 2005, and I didn't get another money again that big. I was floating between 5,000 and 10,000 until I met a mentor that gave me the push, and then I got my first 30,000, I got my first 100, and the rest is history. They say the rest is history. So you will go through the process, and that process will make you a better person. Why am I interviewing? When am I being interviewed here today? Because they've seen that I've gone through the process. They see that they see that I'm not where I used to be. There will be challenges. And when those challenges come, there will be tests. Those tests will lead to testimonies. Most of the things I went through a few years ago, I'm thanking God that I went through them, even though it was very difficult. I'll tell you the truth, it was very difficult. Nothing as having results, good result that is obvious. People need to see the result in your life. But it was one thing that kept me going was the passion that I had for the job that I do. Passion that I had. So even if you're not going to pay me, I could come to your church, come to anywhere you are to crack joke. My most amazing time is the fact that you laugh to my jokes and the fact that I get feedback. Feedback for me is very essential. Amongst all the money that you pay me, I like to get feedback. Let's say, and the truth is, sometimes I win some, sometimes I lose some. It means that sometimes when I go to an event, I don't satisfy them much like some other comedians that they've had. So sometimes they call me back, sometimes they don't call me back. So I've had my ups and downs. Sometimes I've had to disappoint some clients because I put emotion in it where this person is related to me and it's not paying as much as this person. So I go to rush to do this person. And by the time I'm leaving here, it's affecting the ones that are paying and people say they can't call you back again. It has affected, but every time I begin to, reduce the things that affects my business, because when you don't make money tomorrow, the same family will tell you, what did you do with the money that we paid you? And they won't understand that it was their event. And one thing I notice about clients is when they're calling you, they're always very, very nice. They're begging you and all this thing. And then you mess them up, they become, bad news spreads fast. So I went through struggles. I won't lie to you. I worked as a waiter. I taught as a literature teacher. But I'm not that same waiter today. The only time I wait for my children to come back from school. And I didn't even know how to finish scripture that day that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So I did some things by breakup. Well, so for me, just go through the process. The process will not be long again when you have a bigger mentor, when you have a mentor that you relate with, a genuine mentor. One thing about life is you will not be a player for life. That's a reality. You will not be a player. And then that I understood, I keep understanding every time that people that people came to watch a few years ago as a footballer, if they're not careful, if they don't maximize that, they will pay to also enter the same few people came to watch them. And so in the next 10 years, I want to start doing all the business, even from now, and then start growing up. And that's what I'm doing, basically, mentoring people, because the reality is the people you are mentoring right now will do exceedingly better than you did. What will make you still relevant is the book you read, is how relevant you are to their life, how relevant you are to their growth. So I'm moving from being a player to being a mentor to being a coach. It means that if I'm a coach, no matter the field, the industry, I will still be relevant. Hi people, my name is SACO. They call me the Senior Advocate of Comedy and Compare the sense of humor. Keep watching Enterprise Television. It's been amazing in the studio. Okay, in the studio, not on. That's the past tense of on here. Thank you so much and God bless you.